Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode. My name is Kevin.
My name is Malad.
I'm Skylar.
Welcome everyone to the first episode of the show. My name is Kevin.
My name is Malad.
I'm Skylar. Nice to meet you.
And today we are talking about Mario Kart 8.
I have a bunch of Wii U games, and Mario Kart 8 is one of my top 5, honestly, because it's so well polished, well made, and I think it's honestly one of the best Mario Karts that have come out.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the visuals as someone who doesn't even play console games. The game is beautiful, hands down, even for a Nintendo game.
How fast does it run in frames?
60 frames per second and 720p resolution.
And I think we had also noticed it's a lower frame rate for multiplayer. That's when you're 1 and 2 player, you get that full 60 frames per second frame rate. But even with the lowered frame rate with 4 players, it's still very, very continuous, very fluid.
And of course, that's a great thing to have for any game, but that doesn't mean the game is not without faults.
Yeah, personally, don't get me wrong, I dislike this game. I think it's too difficult, the turning's too clunky, and it's not generous with items like it is in the previous Mario Karts.
This coming from a guy who built a car that weighed more than any other possible vehicle with absolutely no handling.
If I'm in 13th place, I should be getting bullets, I should be getting blue shells, I should be getting all these items, but instead I get like a banana, or I get that pathetic squid item that really doesn't do anything, because they seem to drop ball even with the...
To be fair, Skylar has a point. Item balance based on place in the race is not great. It kind of settles pretty well. Once you're in that group of 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, you kind of stay there. It's hard to really push your way up through the ranks.
I feel like the items aren't as effective. I think that was just like an overreaction to like Mario Kart Wii. Everyone was like, oh my god, I'm getting hit by like 8 items at once.
And speaking of the way you have to play the game, how do you feel about the maps?
I think the maps are like one of the strongest points of the game. Other than like Rainbow Road, the new one they have, I just don't like them.
I think the most difficult maps in the game were the ones that were not circular. Like you weren't repeating the track over and over. It was one long shot down a full road. I think there are, 4 maps or so like that?
I think you're just like talking about that Wario stage, Wario's Mountain.
So, how about the anti-grav? It's a whole different way of racing when all of a sudden ramming into other people speeds everybody up.
Yeah, at first when I saw it, I was like, okay, you're just going on ceilings. What difference does it make? But, getting the boost, they're actually encouraging you to run into other people, which I think is amazing. That's a great idea. I love hitting people in video games.
I honestly didn't notice any difference when it came to the anti-grav. Did you go faster or something?
If you run into an object like what they have are these little columns that pop up in the middle of the track, you hit those or other racers, it will bounce you off of each other and act like you're anti-grav. There's no friction, so you're actually bouncing off and continuing even faster.
If some guy's just like constantly ramming into you, then
which
you're
sometimes
just like,
the AI really goes out of its way to do.
This is a multiplayer-centric channel, so let's talk about how
we have 4 players here. We have Skylar, Malad, and myself, and then we also have our producer Dan, who's playing with us. I believe it was one of his first times playing.
It doesn't matter, he got last every time.
I wouldn't say last every time. Oh, you mean between the 4 of us? But it was really fun having everybody in the room together. Going up against the computer, going against each other, yelling, bouncing around the room, just...
Well, in the previous Mario Karts, like, there would always be a certain rival. Like, if you're a certain character, let's say Mario in the N64 Mario Kart game, like, Bowser would be the one that's always on your ass, always pushing you over, constantly rubber banding up to first place. That's
you had an enemy. You
Yeah.
knew who to look for.
As long as Bowser was like getting decimated, you'd be okay. You'd get first because like the computer just wanted to push put much effort into the other AI. It's a lot different now. Like everyone's kind of like Brad.
It's just a more overall balanced AI. Everybody's playing against each other. The computer is playing against itself. How did you feel about the online play, which is only 2 players, so you can't get a full group of 4 on there, but still with 2 you have, yourself and your, other person in the room with you if you'd like. And then you're just playing against either anyone in the world, and also they have what they called regional, which in our experiences wasn't particularly regional, but still you got mostly people from whatever country you're in.
I thought the online was the best part of the game. It's just you face a lot of different people and they all have different play styles. It's kind of hard to identify a play style if you don't really play Mario Kart that often, but you can kind of see it. Some people are more aggressive. They just like run into you. They focus you down.
Some people are rammers. Some people are item hoarders.
It's fun. I just wish there was more communication and voice.
Yeah, it's the only communication you get is in between the races. You have that selection of options for your me to say, and more often than not, I think we end up just spamming the same one to see if other people would start doing it too.
And another thing I'd like is if they added a 4-player mode in the online mode.
I think it'd make for some really interesting racing to have 4 teams, and especially in the tournament sections and some of the options you can turn on and off, you can actually make team racing. So if you had 3 teams of 4 racing against each other, I think that would be a very ideal online experience for the game.
So let's get to the part where we all agreed was the worst part about the game.
Absolutely.
I think
we were universally in agreement on this.
Yeah, the battle mode, which is basically you have to pick up items, and it's basically using the items to hurt the other players without worrying about the race. And it seems like a good idea, except they use the race maps for it rather than like an arena stage.
Something that really opened up and gave you room to move around.
Yeah, something like one big circle, or one big square for starters. And instead you get like a race map and you have to like find each other, and it's it could have been better. It's definitely the weakest part.
I think like the part of it that makes it the worst is it's designed like a race. So intuitively you're just gonna race through the whole course.
That's what I did the first time.
And then if you run into someone, okay, red shell.
You're just gonna fire like normal.
That's it. Like that's all there is to it.
I think the last time they actually had a decent battle mode in the game was the Nintendo 64 version, where there was actual maps designed for battles, and you could go up to different levels, and it bounced around. There was an aspect to it that made it feel like an arena battle.
Sometimes they've done it like similarly to that in other Mario Kart games like Double Dash, and I think that's kind of attributed to how fast you're going. Because when we reduced the speed to like 50 cc, we found that battle mode was a little bit more fun.
And especially playing it online. And the battle mode wasn't that enjoyable, but at least online you were playing against other people, and they kept other computer players in the battle mode automatically. You have to change the settings in order for that to not be there. And that kind of took away from the fun of it, because you could be playing with other people, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just get hit, nobody's anywhere near you, and you just try to figure out what happened, and all of a sudden you realize there are 8 other players in the game that you weren't even aware of. And at least when you're online, it's other players who are in the game, and you're still having fun with it that way. But even then, that's minimal fun compared to the actual racing aspect. Exactly. The race is where it's at.
So, you're most against the game. What do you think they could have changed to make it more enjoyable for you?
Just like battle mode or anything?
Anything.
What
racing
about the
generally, because we all agree that balance sucks.
They could have, I would say, make the stages less wacky.
That's taking away from the spirit of the game.
Yeah, if you wanted something less wacky, you play the older versions.
Or play Gran Turismo.
Yeah, probably to make it so if you're losing, you get better items, like which I mentioned earlier. Even though you could just turn the items off.
Which makes it a completely different game, by the way, without having any items. The race aspect becomes so much more intense. You're focusing on drafting and those elements because that's the only real way you have to get past your opponent into their place.
Yeah. Other than that, it's fine the way it is.
So you're actually not that bad at it?
No. I just don't like the type of game it is.
You just don't like the style? Okay.
It's not
You know, I'm not a fan of Mario Kart. I mean, yeah, it's fun, but
Racing
if I'm
Dodgers
losing and I just get like a banana, you know, it's really not fun for me. Why is it fun? You know, it's not
Well,
fun.
what if you got like a bullet bill that got you to second, something like that?
Yeah, it'd be a lot more fun. At least I can finish on like
That'd be a
4th place.
huge jump. I can understand 3 places or so, or like if you're in all the way last place, it puts you like maybe halfway. Something that's balanced based on your place. But you don't want something that really overdoes it where, like, it would be like a blue shell that took out half of the other players. At what point would there be in that if, you know, everybody who was in 6th through 12th could all of a sudden jump into 1st through 5th? There's got to be some balance to how much racing ability has to do with your place in the map. The thing that I think needs the most work is the fact that almost every character in the game has 3 or 4 different versions, and they counted those as other characters. I know that they wanted to establish different weights and different playstyles based on, you know, either the baby versions of the main characters, Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Rosalina, the metal versions. To me, that is kind of lazy. Even if you go 2 iterations of those characters, that's already 8 characters just based on those same models.
They should have had Dr. Mario in it.
Yeah, Dr. Mario.
Dr. Mario would have been
It's
interesting.
been better than Tanuki Mario.
I do like that they gave you the option to choose your me. I mean, that's kind of like the same concept that they're iterations of the same character, but at least it's something you've made and it feels personalized.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they are addressing it because the DLC packs coming out do include Link, which I think was a great choice, and then as well the Animal Crossing characters, which I've never played Animal Crossing, so I don't know anything about. But hey, at least it's something different. If they really wanted to incorporate more versions of those characters, they could have done stuff like Tennis Peach from Mario Tennis or Golf version. Just pull up, or see, I'm pulling. I feel that those characters are more interesting in the game than Pink Gold Princess Peach. They could have put her version from Super Mario Strikers.
Tennis Peach.
I am pulling its strings here.
Dude,
Can we just replace
Cat
that with
Peach
Super
is
Mario?
so much better than Tennis Peach.
Why not Super Mario Strikers Peach?
Why do you like Tennis Peach?
Because that was the only one I could think of at the moment.
You know, they actually...
Or that one thing that goes like this. What is this called? I saw it on one of the maps.
This?
Remember
This is fantastic.
Mario and Nintendo? Those things you jump on the first level?
Goombas?
Yeah, Goombas.
Oh, Goombas.
Why don't they
Goombas
have
on
one
your
of those?
cart.
Yeah.
How's it
It
gonna
has no
drive?
arms.
You
Grab
can
his
drive like
mouth.
that. His feet like this.
Okay, next time we're going somewhere, I'll drive in the car like this and you tell me how safe you feel.
Well, they could have the damn thing as a character. Why not?
They could, I mean...
Yeah.
That's true.
Freaking Pink Gold Peach.
If they could do
Exactly.
Pink Gold Peach, they can have a Goomba driver.
Baby versions of everyone. Yeah.
Baby Goomba.
Alrighty, let's get down to how we actually feel about it. Let's give a rating. Skylar?
Well, you know, I avoid this game like the plague. I mean, if you're looking for a game, if you want to play with a fun game, multiplayer with 4 people, then you could get it. But as someone who doesn't play console games, you know, it's not really like, unless you like racing games, it's not your cup of tea. So
It's not
Just
going to be
avoid-
a game
avoid
that
it.
converts.
avoid it entirely. I give it probably a 6 out of 10. You know, great graphics and good multiplayer experience.
I would say that this is probably one of the most entertaining multiplayer games I've played in quite a while. It's everything you really want from a racing game, it's everything you really want from a goofy, you know, attack other people game all combined into one. The graphics are smooth and very well detailed. It just overall just really makes me feel good about playing a Nintendo game again. And I don't play Nintendo games all that often. So I would give it 8 to 9 out of 10.
I'm not going to give it a rating, but I'm going to tell you how much I like it. I really like the game. I'm a big Nintendo fan, and I play as many Nintendo games as I can because I just enjoy the type of gameplay. They focus on gameplay, that's why I like them. And Mario Kart 8 does exactly that. There's no story whatsoever. they just go cut straight to it. And then there's no rhyme or reason why you're going up against Baby Mario on a race or something like that. You're just doing it because it's fun, and it's a lot of fun to play with friends. Even if he says he doesn't like it, he still has a little bit of fun playing it.
Yeah.
So anyone can have fun playing this game, and I recommend it if you have a Wii U. If you don't have a Wii U, if you really like Mario Kart, buy a Wii U because it's great.
It's worth the investment.
Yeah, because they've shown that they're gonna improve the experience. If they make enough changes, then I won't have any complaints about the game. It's great.
There you have it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, do whatever it takes to keep us going.
Do not buy Mario Kart.
I'm going to do that when we play a game that you want to play.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but he has a broken nose.
We will talk about that. We will go into extensive detail. We'll play a fighting game and talk about my real life fighting game experiences. That's what we'll do.
Just notice how it's broken. It's like
and that's Dan.
He's last.
He's going to fall if he tries that anymore. Again, that was Dan. I'm Kevin.
I'm a lot.
I'm Melodic Kevin.
I think we're good.
Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good one.